Hello, what up, my people? Thanks for joining me. I am an name analysis. So, I just bought thumbs up to this guy video on TikTok. It gives clear idea about how America uses their dollar to operate and manipulate the whole world. It gives clear economic picture of what it looked like to borrow money from IMF, to borrow money from World Bank and other financial institutions, and what these big economies are using to manipulate other lower economies such as Nigeria and other countries, other third world countries. So I will leave you to watch the video and see how the guy gives a detailed explanation of how these things works, like how the global economy works, how the people keep on using dollar to oppress other economies, and why other countries sees it very necessary to accept international aid. By the way, I'm not in any way castigating or going against dollar being the world trade currency, or speaking against world aid. So just have a clear picture of what this guy is trying to say and how it affects different economies, small economies. Thank you very much.
The US dollar is both the biggest export and the strongest weapon the US has. See, the way they weaponize it is by lending it out, by forcing people to use it, and thereby creating the network effects where everyone needs to use the US dollar. And the key part is, this is something they just create out of nothing. They don't even have to print it. They just like type it up and then boom, like billions just appear, okay? And how do they get the whole world to use it? Well, first, they package it in like a nice thing called US aid. So US aid comes to a country that's struggling, like, oh, we'll do a study for you and we're gonna give you a loan. We're gonna help raise you out of poverty and build roads and infrastructure and stuff. They get the study, and then they give the study to the ruler of that country, whether it's the king or whatever. Of course, if it's a leader that doesn't want the help, they'll just overthrow him, like they've done with countless regimes in the world, okay? But let's put that aside for now. So then that leader takes that US aid study, even the way they call it aid, and takes it to their parliament and gives it to the press, and oh yeah, look, America's going to give us all these billions of dollars to create a new highway and a new port and a new whatever. And then of course one of the terms is that you have to employ American firms and Western firms, and to build these things, because they have the expertise, of course. Yeah, they have the experience and expertise. It's for your own benefit. And then you get the IMF loan, okay, or the World Bank loan. They're both the same, by the way. And of course, the idea of these loans is to never be repaid. The whole idea is that they're not working for it. It's not someone's capital, so no one wants it to be repaid. The idea is they give it to these countries, and of course, after a few years, they can't repay. By the way, not a single country in the history of the IMF has ever repaid back its loan. And eventually, even the ones that do, you're going to have to repay back the loan with interest. Of course, this is not a charity. IMF and the World Bank are not a charity, although they position themselves as such. And like the weird thing is that even the people who work there think that they're doing good for some reason. Like they're just smart enough to carry out this thing, to believe this shit, but dumb enough not to see the big picture of how they're actually fucking over the entire global south. So of course, once you're on the debt, you never repay it back, and you have to refinance and refinance. And every round of refinancing, there's little conditions. Actually, you should privatize your telecommunications. You should privatize your ports. And we just so happen to have great telecom companies and great port management companies, etc. And slowly, and then you know what? I think you should remove subsidies on your fuel, because that's how you can repay back the loan better. And we're giving you economic advice. And then this is where the true evil begins. Oh, like all your agriculture, instead of planting crops that you need for subsistence, how about you plant some cocoa or stuff that's easier to export, and you'll make more money selling it on the international markets, okay? So then a condition of these loans would be to subsidize these crops that are for export, not for subsistence, okay? So effectively what happens after that is that you're in debt and you can't feed yourself. So you're dependent on them for money and dependent on them for food. And this is how the empire weaponizes its dollar, its biggest resource and most powerful weapon. This is all available in a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. I encourage you to read it. It's fascinating. It gives you all the details and all that. It sucks, but this is why I keep talking about this issue here, because the money the money. It's the broken money. We need to opt out, and for the first time in history, there is a money that we can opt out with, and that's Bitcoin. Educate yourself on that, learn it, start investing in it, start saving in it, because it is the future and it's the way to defund the psychopaths who are waging this genocide and the empire and all the psychopaths behind it.